Good afternoon and welcome. Today is Wednesday, April 16th, and this is the City of Anderson Board of Architectural Review. Addenda?
No, sir.
Has all the board members reviewed the minutes from last month's meeting?
Yes, sir.
Any changes? Do I have a motion to approve? Motion from Billy? Second from Amanda? All those in favor? Opposed? Minutes are approved.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the chair's permission, moving on to new business, BAR 23-13. That is 140 North Main Street, social suite sign. Well, I'm sorry, it's an awning. The application has changed slightly. So the site is outlined in red in the middle of your screen. You can see Main Street here and Murray and McDuffie on the left and right, with Earl Street running diagonally across the middle of your screen. Everybody know where we are? Familiar with it? Great. So this is a picture of the outside of the building. The Honey Hush awning has been removed, so there's just the frame, the Galvalume frame. If you went by, you would just see that today. The applicant is requesting approval for the following proposed exterior improvements to the building. They include: 1, remove the existing Galvalume metal frame for the fabric awning. 2, repair any holes, restore the stucco around the existing metal awning, and paint to match the stucco, to match the existing stucco. So that's the stucco repairs to match the existing. 3, paint the existing metal awning and support rods black to create a cohesive and updated look. 4, replace the broken gutters to ensure proper drainage and enhance the building's appearance. And 5, paint the metal awning and brick facade Valspar 6011-1 fired earth. And I believe you have some color samples up on the dais with you that you can reference. That was what was submitted, and staff has the following concerns about compliance with the design guide for downtown. And those are: the application does not consider the whole building, which the design guide suggests that you should do. When choosing a paint color, the whole building should be considered and compatible colors selected for an overall color scheme. So I want to be clear, staff is not suggesting that the whole building needs to be painted, but that the color of the body of the building needs to be considered when painting the storefront trim. And staff is suggesting that a dark bronze may better relate to the existing stucco color instead of the dark Valspar fired earth. So the dark bronze would be a little bit more of a softer contrast than the black. The application does not use the same color on similar architectural elements per the design guide. To reinforce the building as a whole, all window frames, including the second floor, should be painted to match the storefront windows and awning. So it's important to note that currently that those windows are painted the same color, the existing color, the gray that's on the storefront now. And finally, this application does not use colors to tie together the entire building. To reinforce that, again, building as a whole, which comes from the design guide, the door, the existing color is white, should be painted to match the storefront windows and awning. So staff recommends approval with the following conditions. And it's important to note that your approval should include these conditions if you so choose. 1, dark bronze be used for the storefront and awning. Sample to be submitted for approval by staff and bar chair. 2, all window trim on the building shall be painted to match the storefront and awning. 3, the storefront door shall be painted to match the storefront and awning. And 4, the underside of the awning shall be painted to match the awning. So with that, let's look at the building a little bit more and the application a little bit more in depth. So again, this is the building as it existed a couple of months ago. Again, the frame on that canvas is there, and the proposal is to remove it and just leave the existing metal awning that you can see. This is the fired earth. Again, you have a physical sample on the dais. And this is sort of a mock-up of what that might look like. Street view with the fired earth. Everything below the awning essentially painted the fired earth. From that side street. And this is a detail of that brick that they're asking to paint that dark color, what it looks like today in the gutter. Again, a detail of what's at street level. Sorry. So again, staff is recommending a conditional approval with those 4 conditions. The applicant is present, and she has provided a little update, which again you have at the dais, sort of a better mock-up of what was submitted when she made the application initially. Are there any questions for staff?
Okay, one, the frame of the windows on the remaining part of the existing part of the building that is not part of this change to the front, are they a bronze color?
So currently, right now, they're not. They're a dark gray.
They're dark gray.
So there's what I would call a picture frame around these windows.
Yes.
Here, and there is some wood trim. It's not a picture frame because the windows are inset from the stucco on the second floor. So what staff is suggesting, whatever color is used on the bottom storefront should also carry through to the second story and those windows on the first story beyond the storefront. Should be the same color as the storefront.
Okay, and the doors, the entry doors,
the entry
they're
doors
light
right
blue?
now are white.
they're white?
They're white, and staff is suggesting, because there is no white on the building now, that an appropriate color may be, again, whatever is painted the storefront color to tie it into the rest of the building.
Okay. What's your thoughts on the color of the storefront and the doors? Is the black going to fit in with the decor on Main Street? That much black?
I have a question. This says, paint the metal awning fried earth? Fired?
Fired earth? Yes.
Fired, not fried, fired earth?
Is there a, yes, it's fired earth.
We don't-
It's a Valspar colored.
We don't have I mean, these are iron ore and tricorn black.
Okay, those are some slight changes since the application was submitted. And again, the applicant is present. It might be a question, and staff would suggest you ask her.
Yes. Can she come to the
Yes.
podium?
Hello.
Hi.
So the updated suggestion after reading the staff report and their suggestion is I completely agree with the windows, the underneath of the awning and the door. And the ones you have in front of you are of the existing stucco color. I included a tricorn black because that is your starkest black you can have. And then the iron oak is is my compromise to the dark bronze versus the stark black. So the iron oak is what I'm looking to use to kind of soften it instead of a stark black. So the picture you have in front of you is the current suggestion on color.
It's very close to oil bronze color. Bronze.
Yes, sir. I try to find the best compromise that still kept with the integrity of, what we were looking to do as well.
Comments or thoughts on the color compromise?
So the,
This one.
So this is going to be it? Okay.
Yes,
Iron ore.
yeah, iron ore, same way.
Iron ore, I'm sorry, I think I was saying oak.
Mhm.
And so it will be painted as it is now with
Correct.
just the insides, everywhere it is now.
Yes,
will
this
be-
current picture is what I'm going for, even though this is black, I'm looking to do the iron ore. So that's the, what it currently looks like without the awning. And then the after picture is what we're shooting for it to look like and what we're looking to paint.
But I guess what I'm asking is, in the way it is now, it doesn't have, in the upstairs windows, it just has the inside framing painted.
Correct.
dark
Right
color.
now, yes, that
And
is the
would you-
inside framing, and the bottom lip will be painted like they, like staff had suggested.
And why would you consider leaving the bottom lip? Because it is not painted, and it's the natural,
The outside windowsill.
Correct.
Looks like the paint's in bad shape.
Correct. I mean, we were
Oh, is
just
it painted?
looking to, you know, upfit and make it look fresher along with the rest of the facade that we were updating. You know, I'm willing to leave it, but I just thought it looked, you know, a little dated as is.
is it painted or is it, I mean, I
That's
can't
the
tell.
stucco. Yes, ma'am. It's just wear and tear. It's the stucco.
So it is painted, it's just the
the-
original material showing through.
Correct. It's just the original stucco color, and probably from water drainage, it's just kind of discolored. So by painting it black, we were just looking to update or upfit that a little bit more.
What's your thoughts on painting that the bronze color,
I
or
think,
painting
yeah,
it back to the original color of the stucco?
I think you don't want to draw that much attention to that. And it's just not the three in the front, it's all the way across the side where there are 5 of them. And
I'm not sure that is stucco. It almost looks like a concrete or a cast stone material.
Yeah, it looks like a cast sill was added in there.
I mean, that's what I was thinking. I didn't realize it was painted, and I thought just leaving it as it is.
Well, the color could be matched to the existing walls on the upper level of the building, the major part of the building, or they could be painting a contrasting color, which would accent them.
With the boxes around the first floor windows on that,
Down the alley, or the
yeah,
street.
would those be painted? The
Yes, sir.
iron ore as well?
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
I think it'd be a nice accent to paint those windowsills, the iron ore color. If
Well,
not
it's
too-
going to really accentuate all those
It will, it
those
will.
top windows, and it'll almost, to me, almost look like a checkerboard
Mhm.
because there are so many windows.
Yeah, I would say either leave them or paint them to match the body of the stucco.
Yeah, I
Okay.
I
Would look
agree,
more-
either or,
Yeah.
even, like I say, I did not realize they were painted.
Yeah, okay. So,
I think it's
So to
just-
be clear, we're talking about the window sill.
Yeah.
that
Yes.
Sill.
That piece at the bottom of the windows.
Yes.
On the
Yes.
second story,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
any other comments, questions?
I think they should be painted the body color.
The light color?
Yeah, as close as we can get to that.
Yeah.
Or either leave them, I mean, it shows the history of the building.
Yeah,
If it is like
I
a
sort of
concrete or
like
a
the-
stone, just to
Okay.
leave them unpainted.
Yep.
You know, you could leave it unpainted and see how you like it.
Yeah, I was just trying to go with the suggestion that the staff had suggested.
Mhm.
Mhm. Okay. Do we have a motion?
Are we approving one thing at a time, or?
We can do it either way you would like.
Okay.
Let's, okay, we'll break it into two things. Let's- Looking for a motion maybe on the storefront, that portion of it, and then we'll take the windows and their trim as a second motion.
And what about
That
the,
awning is part of the storefront.
well, I had a question
Sure.
of the supports,
The support rods,
being the iron ore, perhaps, you know, they ought to be the same color as the stucco.
it's just all,
Or,
they typically are painted the same color as an awning.
The awning.
They typically are.
okay, so that,
Well, those rods, I see there's some existing rods in the
Yeah.
photograph, but your rendering shows them coming up higher.
That's just what AI
Okay.
did. Yeah,
So
so
they would be
it's
a
the
lower-
existing
Oh.
ones,
They would be a
but
lower
it'll be
profile.
lower. So it'll be less dramatic, but it definitely will give you that, I think the look you're going for to have them matching the awning. But
Yeah.
they will not be as big as it is
Okay.
in the after, yeah.
That-
I'm not
that was-
replacing them, I'm just painting them.
that was, thank you for clarifying
Yeah.
that.
Well, are you going to be reusing the original rods?
Yes, sir.
So then they will be low like that?
Yeah, they're very low.
Yeah, they're very low.
I can see that now.
Maybe.
Any other questions, comments?
They don't.
Do we have a motion on the storefront, including the awning?
I will make a motion to approve the storefront and awning colors with the substitution of iron ore as the color. Leaving the window sills either unpainted or painted to match the body of the stucco.
Okay, so we're doing the whole thing in one,
Yeah.
okay. All right, any further comments or?
So if we're doing everything, I guess we need to voice approval of the window color as well to match the iron ore.
I have a question. Which color is the stucco? Because we have two different samples here.
Which-
We have
We
one that says
have-
Casablanca.
We have stucco and we have Casablanca.
I'm sorry, that must have been a mistake, it's stucco.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
stucco,
I must have added the wrong one, I apologize.
which matches the existing color that's on
Yes,
there
sir.
now?
Mhm.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the storefront, the window colors around the trim downstairs in the lower part of the building, paint the trim around the window, glass wood trim on the upper part of the building, and the option of leaving the stone or cast concrete window sills, the existing finish that they are. Is that correct?
Or painting them the stucco color.
Or painting them, it'd be your decision. Okay, do we have a second? We have a second from David? Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimously passed, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. My apologies, my map is missing. Moving on to new business, BAR 2514, 500 Boulevard. How's our residents? Do you need to recuse yourself? Yeah.
No, he doesn't need to leave till we get ready to vote.
Okay, if that's fine.
That's right.
Okay. Excuse me. After damage to Hurricane Helene to the back of the house, the applicant is seeking approval to make changes as part of the repairs. The goal is to add a gable roof similar to the front entrance, to give the building entry a more period appearance. The windows in the renovation will be enlarged to allow more sunlight into the house. Outside, the steps will be redesigned to meet code and moved to the middle of the wall, and the power box moved to create a more beautiful entry. The trim of the renovation will be painted to match the main body of the house, main trim of the house. The proposed architectural detail, material finishes, and color comply with the design guide. The proposed materials are consistent with the existing materials and finishes currently on the building. The proposed changes will not adversely affect the perceived character of the building or neighborhood. Staff recommends approval as submitted. So, looking at the application, this is the house, albeit from the side street, because vegetation obscures the direct on front. This is the front entry that they're looking to mimic on the back or reference on the back. This is the damage that occurred during Helene. Again, you can see what was there and the damage. This is a sketch of what is proposed to replace what's there. A footprint of that showing, again, this not addition, but renovation, replacement, reconstruction. Elevations of that change. Proposed windows that'll be used. Again, staff is recommending approval as submitted, and if there are any questions of staff or there's a representative for the applicant that can answer questions.
I do have a question. The material for these windows at the door, is that a wood or a composite?
Aluminum clad, sir.
Aluminum clad?
Yes, sir. Windows and doors. Be a Sierra Pacific.
Okay. And the mullions will be on the exterior of the glass?
I'm sorry, sir?
The mullions, the dividers for the glass?
Yes, SDL.
They'll be on the exterior?
Can I come out here?
Yeah,
Yes.
please, that was about to
Yes, please.
suggest.
Yes, sir. It'll be SDL to match the existing of the house, just like you see in the picture there.
Okay. Does anyone have any further questions?
I have a question. Will there be 4 doors or 3?
It'll actually be one door, 2 doors with 2 side lights on the sides, and then we're actually doing on the side of the house, we're doing 2 doors. They look like doors, they're actually windows. They're fixed. So on the back view, the 2 center doors will be operable, but the 2 side doors beside that will be fixed.
And on the side view,
Yes, sir?
those long windows, those are the ones that you're making larger for light?
Yes, sir. We're actually extending it out approximately 4 feet and going over about 16 feet, just going out to enlarge the entryway a little bit. The roof pitch will stay the same. Right now, there's actually a hip roof. We'd like to make that a gable roof. Same materials will be used in the existing house. You got wood on the overhangs. Standing seam metal was there, so we're going back the same thing there too. So it has half-round gutter on the main house, but this had built-in gutter on the actual standing seam roofs. So,
Will you go with the built-in gutter?
I'm sorry, sir?
You're gonna go with built-in gutter on that again?
Yes, sir, probably so,
half-round?
yes, sir.
Right, built-in. Any other questions or comments?
It's very attractive.
Okay, Michael, can you step out while we vote? Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion to approve as submitted? Motion from Jill, second from Amanda. Any further comments?
We can wait till he comes back.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you.
sir.
Appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I knew that'd go right through. Barely. Okay, staff?
Moving along, thank you, Mr. Chairman, to old business, BAR 25-3, that's 1815 Park Drive, Lindley Park sign. This application for a park sign at the southern end of Lindley Park was before the BAR last month. In response to BAR suggestions, the following changes will be made or have been made. One, to make the park signage more consistent, a Cortan steel panel will be added to the existing sign at the northern end of the park. So let me just point that out to you right here. So that sign is up here, right? The lettering, font, and city logo will match that on the proposed south end sign, which is down here at this intersection. The undulating stone wall to the right of the sign will be replaced with a flat top. The wall will remain low to maintain views of the park. We'll look at an illustration of that in a minute. The city will work to develop historic markers to acknowledge the locations of the ball field, rose garden, and streetcar route. Okay, staff is recommending approval. So let's look at this a little bit further. My apologies again. The site, which is phase 2 of Lindley Park, is outlined in red here. You can see Main Street running to the right of it. It's important to note that phase 1 of Lindley Park is up here where my cursor is. Everybody know where we are? Great. So this, again, at the very end of the park would be the location of that monument sign down here at the intersection. It's really where Lindley Park begins. And that illustration of what the sign would look like, again, the wall, the undulation in the top of the wall has been removed so it's flat, and that maintains these open views of the park beyond. It's important to keep that open so people can see the park. And again, this is what the proposed sign will look like. Now, it's important to remember that, you know, there were 4 comments, and the city has, I think, hit 3 of the 4 suggestions that you all had at the last meeting. And staff will take any suggestions, or I have Andrew here if you have any questions of him.
Okay, comments? Oh, comments. The existing sign at the north end will have the same finished material of Corten and those inserts in that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So if you'll remember, that sign had a dark green panel in the middle with the lettering on it, and that panel will essentially come off, and there will be a Corten steel finished panel like this to go in that existing sign.
Comments or suggestions?
Looks a lot better.
They know how we feel about it.
And
That's
Cater's
all I can
Lake's
say.
gonna, I'm sorry.
So they know how we feel about it.
Cater's Lake's gonna have the same appearance.
So, yes, sir, you all approved this sign or a similar sign at Caters Lake at your last
So this
meeting.
pretty much is the look that's going in.
So this signage is consistent over several park renovations inside the city, including the dog park, Caters Lake, and Lindley.
I appreciate the flat top, the cap being flat. I mean, it also is a natural place to sit. I think we approved the, I'm going to call it the wave sign for Caters Lake. But I think it would be very nice and more useful if that were changed to this. But I know we've already approved that, but I'm just saying.
Heard.
The other, and it's, I think even like when we were just looking at some of the, the buildings downtown, tonight and in the past, we see that when we want things to look new and updated and attract younger residents and want to stay and live here. But at the same time, I think one important, charming thing about Anderson is that there's nothing drastic. Everything has classic architectural lines that, 100 years later, you can change the doors or add an awning, and it's still, you can update it, and it doesn't look like it's caught in a time capsule. And I think and appreciate the city working with us and in our feelings that we suggested. The flatness as opposed to the wave looks new and young, but will be classic. When we're all dead and buried, if somebody comes along and wants to update it, if this looks old-fashioned, then it could be done simply. You wouldn't have to rip up the whole thing. And I just think that maybe on these future signs that are going to be placed all over the city, we might want to take that under consideration. The other thing that I so appreciate that the city's willing to put the little historical markers. In talking about this with other people that have grown up here in this town, apparently there were two men that got together and paid to have the Little League ballpark done out of their own pocket. And I don't know their names, somebody does. But, that says a lot about our city and the residents. And that, some research ought to be done so that the information is accurate on these signs. I think people will find that interesting.
I agree.
More further discussion? Comments?
The only thing I want to say one more time is we are approving this sign, which is completely different from the other end of the park. I just wanted to throw out there that everyone's sure that they don't want just motion to replace the other sign so they're matching.
Completely replace the other sign? So it
Right.
matches this
I mean,
one?
no? Okay.
Well, I appreciate that thought. My thought would be make this sign like the other sign.
Well, okay.
That's,
Yeah.
Wait, I'm not sure I understood. You're saying,
Well, you just mentioned that all the other park signs in Anderson are getting changed to this look, so even this sign is going to be the new and improved Anderson City look, so then we have just one sign on the other end of the park that's not.
Well,
the one we approved last meeting.
so what's before you tonight is this sign, not those other signs.
Right.
Yeah.
And it might be nice to have something that's the same but a little different at the other parks too. Might be another way to look at it. But what you have before you is, what you can vote on. Everything else is pretty much a done deal. And no disrespect intended, but.
None taken.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
But the materials are the same, the stone on both sides.
And the material will be that corten on all the signs.
Looks a lot better.
Yeah, I think removing the curve made a huge difference. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay. Any more comments? Questions? Do we have a motion? Motion from David to approve as submitted?
Good to go.
Okay. A second?
Second.
A second from Gia. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Two opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Staff business?
Just a reminder that tonight after the meeting, Andrew will be talking about hot topics. I'm really interested to hear about that because there's a lot going on in the city, and it's a great time. It's a fun time to be here. I would then point out further that on May 6th, Maurice is going to talk about planning and zoning changes that are coming up. I think Andrew's going to touch on that a little bit tonight, so that'll be a nice segue into what he's doing. And then finally, in June, on the 26th, Mike is going to talk about transportation and connectivity. Again, it's nice to have Andrew here tonight because I think he's going to touch on some things that will be a nice segue into both of those. Again, we're rotating. This is for all boards, so we're rotating through the meetings. So Andrew's is tonight, but on May 6th, it'll be after the Planning Commission, and on the 26th, it's after the Board of Zoning Appeals. I encourage you all to attend if you can. And that concludes staff's report.
Does the board wish to bring any business up? With no further business, do I hear a motion to adjourn? Motion from Billy. Second from Amanda. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned.